So if you haven't seen the video of me cutting this tree, check it out. I'll put a link to it. This tree fell exactly where I wanted it to fall, but not without incident. And I'll explain what happened. So, put a standard notch on this tree. I think I did everything by the book. The notch was 1/3 of the way into the tree, or thereabouts. I did a back cut, leaving 1 to 2 inches for the hinge. And then I did everything right until I didn't. My problem was, instead of leaving 1/10 the diameter of the tree as a hinge, and then using a wedge to knock the tree over, I basically cut all the way through the hinge until the tree had no choice but to fall backwards onto the back cut. And here you can see the mark where I drove the wedge that saved the tree and knocked it back over where it was supposed to go. So I'm not going to make that mistake again when I take down this tree today, this black birch. This one's not quite as big in diameter. Fairly tall still, but again, not quite as big. You can see it has a natural lean for sure. Pretty much off to the left of where I'm standing, which puts it that way. My goal is going to be to see if I can, with notches and wedges and not screwing up this time, I'm going to see if I can drop it sort of as a target, this previous stump. That's my target. Let me back up here. There we go. So there's a tree back there. You can see the lean to the left. I'm gonna move that trailer, of course. And that's my target on the stump. I'm getting ready to cut this tree. As I mentioned previously, here's my target, this prior stump. Now, I've done some Sharpie markings on the tree. This is because I want to make sure that I get all the measurements right. I also want to show exactly what I'm doing because I'm very fortunate. Some of you may not be as fortunate as me to have so many smart friends. I've got some friends that are so smart. They literally know everything about everything. So you may not be as lucky as me, but since I have so many people that know everything, I just want to lay out what I'm doing, and then they can tell me more easily exactly what I did wrong this time. So I've marked the center of the tree based on the direction I want it to fall, and this time I actually used a level to draw my lines so that I made sure everything was I wasn't being deceived by the pitch of the tree or the lay of the ground. So what I've got here is a standard notch. This is a level line. It actually goes 1/3 of the diameter of the tree. I confirmed the diameter of the tree by taking the circumference with a tape. So this distance here and the same on the other side from the center line is exactly 1/3 the diameter of the tree. This is a 15-inch diameter tree. So this is 5 inches from here. 5 inches, 1/3. Then I've drawn up here 45-degree angle. Make sure I get 45 to 55-ish degrees. And then here's what my mistake was last time. from the bottom of the notch, I didn't leave a proper hinge, which should be 1/10 the diameter of the tree. So that's 1.5 inches from there. I cut through that last time, and that was why the tree sat back on the back cut. So here we go, 1.5 inches over and 1 to 2 inches above the bottom of the notch. That's my back cut line. I'm going to be cutting horizontal from the back to here, matching the same point on the other side. That's when I'm going to, well actually I'm going to do this in quarters. I'm going to quarter cut the back because the tree's leaning generally towards that shed. So I'm going to do the back cut on that side first and get a wedge in there before I do the finished back cut on this side. But anyway, you see the point, I've got the markers. I'm going to stop there on the other side, go back just a quarter of the tree. I'm going to put the wedge in on that side, then I'm going to do this side and get a wedge in. Hopefully this hinge does its job. I'm sure it's going to. It didn't last time because I cut through it. And then that should, with the driving of the wedges, drop it onto that stump. At any rate, I'm confident I'm going to have a better result than last time. One point, and this is based on some feedback I got from someone in my first video. He said to use a plumb bob, but I'm just using a level, making sure that the lines are plumb and level. And I got to tell you, I think this is key because that line, that back cut line, I took it from both sides using a level. And as I was drawing it, honestly felt crooked. I mean, I have to believe the level. It didn't feel right. It felt like I was going, you know, downhill. But that's just the deception that the terrain and the tree are playing on me. So without this level, I definitely wouldn't have drawn that line. That's my back cut line. I wouldn't have drawn it right, and I might have had another mistake. So that's gonna bring me right to the point that I wanna go. And I thank you for that tip. One more look from the back. I'm gonna show you the lean I'm trying to overcome. I think I'm standing right behind the direction the tree wants to fall on its own. Maybe even a little more to the right of it, but anyway, it should be going between that trampoline and that seated area. And I'm gonna move that stuff anyway, but I'm trying to, you know, I'm aiming for that stump in the background, right there. I don't think that's too much to overcome. I'm not an expert, but I think I had worse conditions on the last one. And if it weren't for my mistake, and if I had the wedges handy, I wouldn't have had the scare. But at the end, it still went where I wanted it to go. So I want to do tree cam. This is located at the stump, but there's some debate amongst my wife and I whether this is a good idea. Although I do have an iPhone 11 in, she doesn't think it's the smartest idea. So if I put, that's the target. So if I put the, if I put it in here.
Whatever you want, Kev. No, I'm not buying you another phone.
So you do not condone tree cam? Okay, not bad. Pretty much on target, although I went a little deeper on this side, so than I intended. So I'm just gonna make sure I leave that hinge further than my mark, 1.5 inches or so. This side's pretty much on target, so I'm gonna start to cut this quarter of the tree and get a wedge in there. before I get to the other side. Through felling wedges, they were splitting wedges. Figured I could do double purpose because I needed them, but they're a little too thick to get into this cut, so I did use the head of the axe, fit in better and tighter on this quarter. I'll just have to be more careful with it. And just to be safe, I remarked my target on the back cut, leaving the hinge. That was damn near perfect. Suck it, people. Here we go. Here's the target stump. There's the tree. Target stump, tree. Let's go see the base. Thank you very much, Haynes. Again, I said it before. I'll say it again. You fooled me once, shame on me. But, yeah, let's just say you can't get fooled again. Thanks to George Bush. Nice. I don't make the same mistake twice. Very happy here. Let's see how close it really was. Target, stump, tree. Looked better in the first video, but I think it's still 3-4 feet, maybe. But here's what's most interesting. Win one for the wife. That was the tree cam location that I wanted to use. And this branch right here hit the side, collapsed it in, and put it down right where my phone would have been. Ouch. Good job, Heather.